Welcome to Bipolar She. I'm your host, Janine Noel. On this show, we do talk about suicide. If you're ever in need of immediate support, please dial 988, a suicide and crisis lifeline. In this episode, I don't refer to suicide directly, but I do talk about the fatigue of managing mental illness. I understand how just being tired can lead to wanting to end things. 3 months ago, I taped this episode when I was in the middle of a crisis and couldn't sleep. Like any responsible bipolar person, I did not release it. But I do want to share it now because it will help me talk about a few things going forward on the show. I managed my illness by living on a tight schedule and being vigilant. But taking medication, being in talk therapy, and seeing a psychiatrist is not a magic formula for mental health success. That is a myth. Doing all three may be our best chance for success, but illness can topple these efforts. And this is how it crushes me, mostly at night, mostly dealing with sleep. And now, on with the show. I thought I would just talk about something that I'm personally dealing with right now, and it may be a story that people don't know or really understand about those of us that have bipolar disorder who are managing it. It may seem like it's really under control, but at the same time, there's this very private life going on underneath. And so today, I come to the show exhausted. I had several nights of bad sleep or falling asleep at 3 a.m. For regular people, it may not be that big of a deal to have insomnia. But for me and my bipolar disorder, if I start to have sleep deprivation, that increases my risk for mania. And once my risk for mania shoots up, then my risk for psychosis really shoots up. So I get afraid when I can't sleep. I had this little recording in my head saying, you're not getting sleep, you're not getting sleep, you're going to get manic, you're going to get manic, you're going to be psychotic, you're going to have to go to the hospital. And that terrifies me. So when I can't sleep, I fall back on other medications to help conk me out. And by the time I take so much medication to help me sleep, I am so groggy and tired in the morning. It's really, really hard to have a regular day. So, for example, I couldn't fall asleep 2 nights ago, and I went, okay, I got to knock myself out. So I went and took hydroxyzine, it's a really intense antihistamine. It's not a psychiatric drug. It's really like taking a huge dose of Benadryl. But then that didn't work. And so for another hour or two, I toss and turn. And then I go, okay, I got to get out the big guns. And I go in and I take lorazepam or Ativan to help me sleep, and then that doesn't work. Another hour goes by, and I take at least 100 milligrams of Seroquel to help me sleep. So in the morning, in addition to my lithium and my Lamictal and my regular Seroquel and my regular Ativan, I have so much medication running through me. And I'm scared. I'm scared if the next night is going to be the same. I'm scared that my mind is running fast and kind of raging towards mania. And it's a really fearful, lonely place. But having to adjust my medication just to keep my feet planted on this earth, it's a job. And I don't think people that know me well might understand this, but I don't think others get that bipolar illness, these medications work with us and help us, but they're far from perfect. And a lot of it is left to how we're going to manage it. During all of this, I am in touch with my psychiatrist, and we've walked through ways to handle this. At the same time, that doesn't entirely, solve my fearfulness of things going awry. So I have many fearful nights. And when I have those nights, I also start to have some scary thoughts or images come into my head. I've always had this reaction to Seroquel, which is counterintuitive. Seroquel it's one of the biggest antipsychotics. Just about anyone suffering some sort of manic episode may be prescribed Seroquel. been on it for, probably 15 years now. And it's a good drug because it conks you out and puts you to bed. But for me, it makes me feel crazy when I take it. So I have to actually sedate myself with another medication in order to take the Seroquel, but to stop this like heavy flooding and just of horrible, violent thoughts into my head. So this antipsychotic makes me psychotic before I can fall asleep. And sometimes this leads to a super scary panic attack that I have at night. And that is the belief that my soul is being yanked out from me and that I am falling to hell. And it's very hard for me to talk myself out of it. I can say, oh, my therapist doesn't think I'm going to hell, or friends don't think I'm going to hell. I can try to talk myself out of it, but the feeling is so intense. And I do link that with the Seroquel. I don't ever during the day have an idea that my soul is going to hell. I'm pretty reasonable about that. But at night, that's what happens. And I do blame that on the Seroquel. So the problem is there isn't another medication that has worked for me. So the Seroquel is still the best drug for me, even though I have to kind of endure this onset of crazy thinking before the rest of my night. So sleep is a huge production for me. It starts at 9:15. I take half my meds. Half hour later, I take the rest. And I can tell if my mind is going to be racing. I'm usually watching Seinfeld. I can tell if my mind is racing too much by 10 o'clock. And I just know if I'm going to need a backup, if I'm going to need more Seroquel, or what is going to happen. So those are this little nightly conundrum. This is just part of my life. And this is why I don't feel great some mornings. But it's hard to carry that kind of nightly battle with you into your day. So I just wanted to talk about this because it just seems like an area I think people with illness would understand, but there really is no rest for even the healthy with these illnesses. It's just, for me, a constant battle, and it really tears me down. I feel really sad about it, and I get really upset that this battle is still going on 30 years later. I get really overwhelmed that I can't do this. Like, how do I keep doing this? How do I keep fighting this like nightly terror, this exhaustion, this fear of going crazy, this fear of being in the hospital? How do I live with that every night with those fears? And I'm tired, and my soul is tired. And it's in those moments where I go, I don't know how long I can do this. And why is it so hard? Why is this part of my life so hard? I don't think I can keep doing this. And so I hit a very low place at night while this is going on. In the morning, I usually have some energy and can see life going forward. But in the middle of the night, sitting there, I do ask questions like, this has been a bitch. This has been hard. How long do I have to do this for? Yeah, so I guess those are, unfortunately, dark thoughts. It's been a long time since things were easy. And it would be nice if these meds worked well for all of us and that we didn't go through this, because it's super hard. And yeah, so I'm walking around with this sort of private life that people don't really see this. People don't really see what the day-to-day struggle is like with this. So thank you for listening to this little interlude before I return to my regular interviews. If medication and that midnight dance of going to sleep is something that you deal with too, I'd like to hear about how you are handling this and how you get through it. And I just hope there are better drugs. And I just hope that we all kind of forge forward and know that we will make it out. But at 3 a.m, it sure doesn't feel like it. Let me see if there's anything else to really say. Not really anything else to say, except I'm fucking tired.